Hello, campers, and welcome back to Coffee and Card Games with Mark. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some Star Wars Unlimited cards from the first set coming out, Spark of Rebellion. By the time you're watching this video, set may already be out, might be at your local game store, and so you might be able to go out and grab some of these, but we want to take a look at some of the cards that are going to be coming out in the set. And today, we're going to be looking at the Green Faction Command. We're going to be looking at all of the common cards that you might be able to find and your Spark of Rebellion packs. Before we jump in, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon here on our channel. We do have a podcast as well called Starter Set where we review mostly digital card games, but we also talk about physical card games on our YouTube channel like Lorcana and Pokemon, and I'm covering a whole bunch of stuff with Star Wars Unlimited with the set releasing now. So, with no further ado, after you've done those things, like, subscribe, and click the bell icon, let's grab a sip of coffee and dive in to some of the cards in Green Faction Command, looking specifically at the common rarity cards. Okay. We've had our sip of coffee and we're ready to go. Let's take a look at these one by one, just talk about them really briefly. In my previous videos, we've already talked about the leaders, so you can go back and check those out. But we have Tarkin, and we also have Leia in the common slot. And of course, Leia isn't really loading right now. Let's take a look. There we go. There's her in her hyperspace variant, and both pretty cool. Leia really quickly just allows you to attack with multiple rebel units. Tarkin, I think one of the more powerful ones, lets you put experience tokens out. So a lot of stuff with command, making use of your units or buffing your units, pretty cool. You have your two normal green bases, common green bases, just echo base if you want the variant that looks a little bit more rebel, and then the command center if you want the one that looks a little bit more imperial, but literally the same exact card, 30 health, and they just give you a green icon, no different. Let's dive into some of the common cards you're going to see in the set. First one is a Seasoned Shore Trooper. This is a 2-mana, 2/3 ground unit that is both command and villainy. It reads like this. While you control 6 or more resources, this card is a +2/+0. So a pretty basic 2-mana or 2-resource 2/3 in the beginning of the game, but it is a little bit better as a 2-resource 4/3 later in the game if you get to the point that you have 6 resources down. This card is not amazing, pretty basic as a 2-mana 2/3 or 2-resource 2/3, but still cool, not awful, not fantastic in my opinion. Next one, the Super Laser Technician is going to be a 3-resource cost 2/1, so pretty expensive for the stat spread. Of course, it's also going to have the villainy and command, and when defeated, you may put this unit into play as a resource and ready it. So get a little bit of ramp here. So you get this 2/1 that you could put out. Maybe you can ping away something, maybe get a couple damage on your opponent's base, and then once it does get knocked out, which you can knock it out by attacking into one of your opponent's units in the ground space as well, the ground lane, you're going to be able to get this as a resource. I think that's pretty cool. I like this card. We can take a look at some of their hyperspace variants as well, just so you can kind of get a view of what their hyperspace looks like. Really cool on the Seasoned Shore Trooper. I think this card's great, by the way. I think it's really good. And yeah, if you're going to play a ramp deck, you want to play this. I want to call this willpower. I realize it's not, but if you want to play this commanding, ramp deck, super cool. Super Laser Technician. Wait till 3 to get it out. Because you do start with 2 energy or 2 resources in this game, you theoretically, this could get out on turn 2, which isn't bad. You have to kind of keep in mind, like 3 seems late for stuff, but it's really turn 2, so maybe it's not too late for it. The Gladiator Star Destroyer, both in its normal and in its hyperspace. I actually think the hyperspace on this card doesn't look that great because it kind of already has some lasers coming out. I don't know. I don't like the little dashes around it with those lasers. They look kind of incongruent, especially this one down here. It doesn't look great. Don't love it. A 6-mana 5/6 command villainy card. Pretty good stat spread for a 5/6 for 6. And then when played, give a unit Sentinel for this phase. You're going to make something, get that taunt ability, make it harder for your opponent to be able to get through with their attacks. I think this can be done. I don't know 100%. I think this can be done on either lane, but it might only be able to be done in space lane. Still, even if you were giving this the Sentinel, it wouldn't be bad. So not bad if you're playing sort of a defensive strategy with it. Command with ramp does kind of want to lean towards, if you get this out early, great. Get this out on turn 4. you know, if you got the Super Laser Technician out on 2 and then, you know, got to put him down. You know, getting this out on turn 4, not terrible. Not terrible. Alliance Dispatcher. Action, play a unit from hand, it costs 1 less. So pretty good. A 1 mana, 1/2. So 1 manas are interesting in this game because you do start turn 1 with 2 resources. So a 1 resource card, it's hard for it to be valuable. But this allows you to continue to ramp, which I think is pretty good. Take a look at their hyperspace variant. I think this is a pretty good card. Alliance Dispatcher. I think it's pretty good. You're looking at command and heroism on this one. So it is a heroism card. The next one is another command and heroism card. Just a very basic 2 mana 3/3 though. 2 resource 3/3. I'm going to try to quit calling it mana. It's going to be hard to do. 2 resource 3/3. Just a stat block, you know, just like a stat stick. Turn 1, getting a 3/3 out seems pretty good. Battlefield Marine. Don't hate that card at all. Don't hate that card at all. Stats seem to be kind of like harder to come by in this game, to be honest with you. And so, you know, just getting this basic 2 resource 3/3, pretty good, pretty good. Next one is going to be also heroism and command. Echo Base Defender, one of my favorite arts in the game, honestly, and its hyperspace is absolutely gorgeous. I think it's stunning. This is just a 3 mana 4/3 with Sentinel, so sort of basic, not a huge stat block. Would love to see that be a 3 mana 3/4 with Sentinel. I don't really love the aggressive stat here with the defensive ability. I still think this isn't a bad card. I don't know that it's as much of a staple in command as maybe this guy's going to be. Although, you know, typically you're going to lose 1 attack and 1 health if you're going to get a keyword. And so, you know, typically this would be a 3 resource 3/3 with Sentinel. Because, you know, you do have the 2 resource 3/3. So you are only losing once getting. It's okay. It's okay. Would still love to see those 2 flipped. It's not great. It's not awful. Vanguard Infantry. When defeated, you may give an experience token to a unit, which is just a +1/+1. This is once again a 1 resource. It's pretty early on. 1 attack, 2 health. This is another one I'd love to see flipped. I'd love to see this be a. This is only command, so you could play this in either villainy or in heroism without any penalty. So that's really not bad. Give an experience token to a unit. So once again, it's going to give that +1/+1. Hyperspace looks really good on this one. It's not bad. Would still rather see this thing, I think, with 2 attack, 1 health. But it's not terrible. Could be good. It's hard to determine, you know. Patrolling V-Wing, our first space unit here in command. This is command only, so you could play this either heroism or in villainy. A 2 resource cost 1/1, but when you play it, you draw a card. This really isn't bad if you're playing sort of like a combo deck. Maybe you're playing something you just want to get that 1 ping out there in the space lane. You know, with this is a much better card when defender has priority in this game because attacker has priority. This is a lot worse because your opponent can't just ignore this and go to your base, and then you're just really getting a ping. But if you feel like, you know, you're in a situation where you need a ping to maybe remove shields from opponents' things, or you need a ping to just finish something off, this and drawing you a card, not bad. It's kind of like a 2-turn ping, delayed ping. A lot of times your opponent just going to attack into it. You really want to play this card for the draw purpose. It's pretty understated, so it's a big tempo loss for a card advantage. But if your deck is benefiting from that because it's ramping into more powerful stuff than your opponent, you're going to get that tempo back later. Maybe this card is totally fine. Maybe this card is totally fine. Another space unit here. The Consortium Star Viper card. While you have the initiative, this unit gains Restore 2, so when it attacks, it heals your base 2. A 3 resource 3/3. This looks like an origami project. Don't love the artwork on this. I don't even know what that's supposed to be perfectly honest with you. 3/3. Not terrible. Not terrible. You know, if you have initiative, it does seem like stats are a little bit harder to come by in the space lane already. You know, would still, you know, this is a 3 mana 3/4. If you had initiative Restore 2, it'd probably be a lot better. Man, you know, and you do have to attack to restore health to your base. This isn't terrible if the space lane is kind of alone and you're going to have initiative consistently because you're going to be, you know, basically tapping out faster than your opponent. I don't know that this would be a staple, though. I think this is just, you know, it's okay. Homestead Militia, take a look at that. very sort of comic booky artwork on this one. While you control 6 or more resources, so another one that wants you to sort of ramp up, this unit gains Sentinel, so it would be a 3 mana 3/4 with Sentinel once you're at 6 resources. I like this card. I like this card a lot. You know, before it's a 3 mana 3/4, you're going to ramp to 6, likely with command relatively quickly. And so this is just a command card too. So you could play this in your Tarkin deck. Or we'll see later in my card reviews, higher rarity leaders, rare leaders that you might be able to play with this as well. Interesting card, Homestead Militia. I think I like this more theoretically than Echo-based Defenders that just has it, just because of the stat distribution. I think is a little bit better, but maybe Echo-based Defenders becomes more of a staple than this card. I don't know. It's hard to say. Escort Skiff. This is a 4 mana 4/4 purely command. It says this: while you control another command unit, this unit gains ambush. After you play this unit, may ready and attack an enemy unit. Now this is kind of like Rush in Hearthstone, so this does not allow you to actually play this card and attack the enemy base. That you'd have to ready for. This allows you to ready and only attack an enemy unit. So this is removal. I actually think this card is very, very good. You have a very high chance of controlling another command unit with this deck. And if you do, being able to drop this and immediately remove something, especially for some of your ramp decks that are going to try to be ramping up and also just want to be able to control the board, I think this card's really, really good. I could totally see this in like a Boba Fett deck that wants to control the board already by removing opponents' things. So you could maybe play like a yellow-green Boba Fett deck with this. Pretty good card. I like this. There's definitely other leaders who would benefit from this, but I think the Escort Skiff is pretty nice. Steadfast. Oh, let's take a look at the Escort Skiff's Hyperspace variant. Take it or leave it. This is one that it does look better, but it isn't phenomenally better, The next one, Steadfast Battalion. Once again, all the rest of these are going to be just strictly command cards, so no more heroism or villainy stuff. This is a 5 mana 5/5. Okay, stats not bad. Overwhelms. This is like Trample, Hearthstone, or I guess it's in Hearthstone. I can't remember what it is in Hearthstone. In Magic the Gathering. So any damage that you do in excess on your opponent is going to go straight to their base. That's not bad. And then on attack, if you control a leaner unit, give a friendly unit +2/+2 for this phase. That's kind of good. So when you attack, if you have your leader out, which you have a pretty good chance of having out pretty soon after this comes out, if not already, you want to really get this out, and then next round on turn 6, you want to get your leader out there on the board, depending on which leader you're playing, get that out with Steadfast Battalion. Man, giving a +2/+2 and having a 5/5 with the Overwhelm keyword, pretty strong, honestly. I think that Steadfast Battalion can see it plays pretty good on 5. It's hard to tell a little bit in this game as you're playing out like how the meta is going to really shape and shift to show like will a 5 cost that doesn't do anything the turn it hits the board. And you also have to keep in mind this is really kind of a 4 cost in other card games if you're comparing to other card games because you are starting with 2 resources in this game. So I think that's interesting as well. Yeah, I like this card. I like this card a lot, honestly. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's as good as Skiff. I think the Skiff's better, but it's not bad. Let's take a look at the Hyperspace of this. Wow, Hyperspace, beautiful in this. Mercenary Company, 6 mana 5/5 with Ambush and Overwhelm. So for 1 more resource, you're going to be able to get this down and ambush the turn that you put it down. So you're going to be able to ready this thing and attack into a unit. Pretty good. A 5/5 for 6 isn't bad. And then you're also going to be able to overwhelm your opponent to get damage on the base. I think this is actually a pretty good card, to be honest with you. Just to control the board. Once again, I'm thinking decks like Fett's deck. I'm thinking decks like, an Underworld Trooper. There's some stuff that would definitely work well with Trooper cards as well. I think this is pretty good. Mercenary Company. I would lose, you're getting, it's a stat block, right? It's a stat stick, really. The 5/5 isn't bad because there's not a ton of super high stats in this game yet. And in my opinion, anyway. And Ambush and Overwhelm, pretty good. Ambush and Overwhelm, very, very good. So I like that. I like the Mercenary Company. Academy Training, variant in this. Okay, Hyperspace is fine. Just the 2 mana, just a buff, two resources, and then just going to get a +2/+2 on something. Pretty basic. Nothing to write home about. This might save something's life. I'm not super impressed by this card, though. Not super impressed by it. Recruit. I don't know if it's going to pull up its hyperspace or not. There it is. Let's pull it up. The recruit here, a one cost. Okay, one cost, maybe, but a one cost, and this is an event. So, hey, you're not going to be putting anything on the board with this, but hey, search the top 5 cards of your deck for a unit, reveal, and draw it. It's pretty good. It's not bad. It's not bad. If you're running out of stuff, this lets you shift through and go find a unit that you might be looking for. Top 5 cards of your deck, not bad. Sort of like a Great Ball, honestly, in Pokemon. They'll let you dig a little bit further. Not bad. Limited tutor. Limited tutor lets you go get a unit specifically and then reveal it. You know, if you're playing a lot of units and you're looking for something specific, might not be bad. This could be just a one resource spent, whiff too. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I don't know if this is going to be a staple. Tactical advantage, just a combat trick. You can play this anytime. Give a unit +2/+2 this phase as an event. Okay. Actually, I don't know that you can play this anytime. I don't think that you can you? I don't think there's like instant speed in this game. So you'd have to take your turn, I think, playing this. Oof. Yeah, I'm not sure I like that. Giving unit +2/+2 this phase, it's going to leave. Why wouldn't you just do this as an upgrade for one more resource? It's going to stick as an upgrade. Yeah, I don't love that. Resupply. Love this because it has Hair and Sabine on it. But other than that, 3 resources to put this event into the display as a resource. So another ramp. So if you're playing ramp, yeah, absolutely. Resupply is a staple in your deck. This is a 3 of hands down in a lot of command decks that are going to be doing anything like that. Let's take a look at our final card. Not great artwork. Man, really don't like this sort of like Disney-esque Luke Skywalker here. Don't like it anymore in the variant, even though this looks kind of like a Trandoshan, maybe a poor Bosk here in the background. 3 resources. It's going to say a friendly unit deals damage equal to its power to an enemy unit, and that's not bad. In terms of removal, Strike True is pretty good. It's pretty good. You kind of get a big guy down on the board. Maybe he lives around. Maybe get one of these ones with ambush, like the Skiff, the Mercenary Company. I think is that what it's called? Mercenary Company. Yeah. And then you get this out. Not bad. Not bad. If you have the resource, it's kind of expensive, but if you figure, man, it's going to deal damage without getting retaliated on, might be able to ping off a shield. It's just going to go after a unit. A lot of stuff that just wants board control here. A lot of stuff that wants board control. I like that. This whole deck, whole command thing is really focused around controlling your opponent's board. I love that interaction. It's not just straight aggression. This does feel like it would be very good against aggressive decks if it's fast enough. Interesting. Ramp is kind of weak, but this does have some tools to be able to deal with what might come in from your opponent if they are playing something aggressive. That's going to do it. That's all of the common cards from Command. We'll continue to release videos letting you know some of the other cards that are common, uncommon, rare, and legendary cards that are in the various factions. We're going to be doing videos on all of those. If you want to hear more input on and some just thoughts on Star Wars Unlimited cards in this first bet, Spark of Rebellion, once again, be sure to hit the like button. Helps other people find us, subscribe to us, and then also hit that bell icon so you know when we're putting out more stuff. This has been Coffee and Card Games with me, Mark, here at Camp Legends Campers. Thanks for stopping by, hanging out with me today, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.